You finished another book this week, you did not finish the project, this is month 4, and you already know what the next book is going to be. By the end of this video, you'll understand the exact mechanism that lets you read 47 productivity books and ship 0 of your own. It's not discipline, it's not focus, it's a clock. Specifically, your brain's urgency clock, and every book you open resets it to 0. You'll see why the project you were 70% done with in March is the same project you're 70% done with now, and you'll see why the cure has nothing to do with reading less. It has to do with what reading is actually doing to your timeline. Here's the pattern. A typical solo founder runs a loop that looks like this. Idea hits, momentum builds, project gets to roughly 60 to 75% done, friction shows up. The friction is technical, or it's emotional, or it's a launch decision you don't want to make. At that exact moment, and this is the part nobody talks about, you do not abandon the project. You pause it. You tell yourself you need to learn something before continuing, so you buy the book, or you start the course, or you watch the 3-hour YouTube essay on positioning. And here's what's invisible from inside the pattern. The consumption feels like progress. You're taking notes, you're highlighting, you're nodding along. The dopamine system can't tell the difference between making a thing and learning about making a thing. Both feel like forward motion. But your project folder hasn't been opened in 11 weeks. And the book you're reading right now, the one that's going to finally unlock it, that's book number 14 this year. The math is on the table, you just haven't done the math. Every project has an urgency clock. It's not on the wall, it's in your nervous system. When you start something, your brain assigns it a rough deadline. I need to ship this in 3 weeks or it's stale. That clock is what drives you to open the dock at 9 p.m. when you don't want to. Here's the mechanism. The moment you decide to go learn more before continuing, your brain registers the project as paused, not stalled. Pause projects don't have urgency clocks, they have resume when ready status, and ready never comes, because every new book you finish creates a new question, which creates a new gap, which justifies a new pause. Chu Tak with 30. Pattern interrupt. If you bought a book in the last 30 days while a project you started before March is still sitting at almost done, this is you, not generally, specifically you. The book on your nightstand is the receipt. The micro lesson: consumption isn't neutral. It actively deprioritizes whatever you were doing before you opened it. Almost every solo project that dies between 60 and 80% done. This is well documented. Behavioral economists call it the near-miss zone. Charles Duhigg's work on habit loops and Stephen Pressfield's framing of resistance both point at the same phenomenon. The closer you get to shipping, the higher the perceived cost of shipping badly. So your brain runs a beautiful trick on you. It says, you don't have enough information yet. You don't know enough about pricing. You don't know enough about copywriting. You don't know enough about launches. Go learn, but you do know enough. You knew enough at 50%. You definitely know enough at 70%. The book isn't filling a knowledge gap. It's filling an emotional gap. The gap between I might fail and I haven't started failing yet because I'm still learning. The micro lesson: at 70% done, every hour spent reading is an hour spent not finding out if the thing works. Reading is how you stay safe from the verdict. If you missed a deadline, your brain would flag it. If you lost money, your brain would flag it. But the cost of not shipping doesn't show up in any system you check. There's no alert that says you owed yourself a launch on March 14th and it's now September. So the cost compounds silently. Project 1 stalls at 70% in February. You read 3 books between February and April. Project 2 starts in May, stalls at 65% in July. You take a course. Project 3 starts in August. Indie Hacker's public data is brutal on this. The founders who hit revenue aren't the ones who read the most. They're the ones who shipped ugly versions early and let the market correct them. Peter Levels has been explicit about this for a decade. Ship in days, not months. Let users tell you what's wrong. Yachi-saib? Pattern interrupt. If you opened a second tab while watching this, yes, the Amazon tab, the Substack tab, the YouTube essay tab, that's the loop firing in real time, not a metaphor, the exact behavior right now. The micro lesson: silent costs are the most expensive ones because nothing tells you to stop. If you spent 4 hours playing video games instead of shipping, you'd feel guilty. If you spent 4 hours scrolling TikTok, you'd feel guilty. If you spent 4 hours reading deep work, you'd feel virtuous. The friend group claps. The Twitter bio gets updated. You log it on Goodreads. This is the trap. The behavior is identical. 4 hours of not shipping, but the social signal is opposite. Reading is the only form of procrastination that comes with a public reward system attached to it. Cal Newport's own research on knowledge work points at this paradox. The people who talk most about deep work often do the least of it. Reading about focus is not focus, it is the inverse of focus, performed in costume. The micro lesson: if your procrastination has a Goodreads page, it's still procrastination. The genre doesn't matter. Here's where most advice fails. People tell you to read less. That's wrong. Reading isn't the disease. Reading while a project is at 70% is the disease. The fix is structural. You don't get to open a new book, course, or long-form essay until the current project crosses the finish line. Not 90%, not soft launch. Shipped. Public, with a price or a published URL or whatever counts as done for that project. 7:30 pattern interrupt. If you've already started mentally negotiating with this rule, but what if I need to learn X to ship Y? That's the loop talking, not you, the loop. The whole point is that your brain will always find a reason. Always. The micro lesson, the rule has to be mechanical because the negotiation will always win on intuition. So here's the synthesis. You don't have a focus problem, you don't have a discipline problem, you have an architecture problem, and books are the load-bearing wall. Every book you open while a project sits at 70% done is not neutral self-improvement. It is the most expensive form of procrastination available to a literate person. It costs you the project, it resets your urgency clock, and it does it under the cover of virtue. 3 things. Install them tomorrow morning, 15 minutes total. 1. Install a site blocker, leech block, cold turkey, whatever, and add Amazon's book section, Audible, your library app, and Goodreads to it. Lock them until 9 p.m. 2. Open the project folder of whatever you're closest to finishing. Create a file called shipby.txt with one date in it, 7 days from today. 3. Box every unread productivity book on your desk and put the box in a closet, not donated, not gone, just out of sight until the ship.by.txt date passes. That's it. No new mindset, no new identity, just 3 mechanical changes that make the loop harder to run. You finished another book this week. You're not going to finish another one until you finish the thing you started in March. If this landed, subscribe. There's a new one every week, and everyone is built like this. Mechanism first, prescription second.